advance on $7,500. All done. Sold.
Yay,
Congratulations.
Good morning, everyone. Our today's topic is auctions. This auction clip that you just saw was for this very property that I'm in now. There's an interesting way how that auction was won, and I'll be discussing that shortly. It is a true saying that profit is often made at the time of buying. I've purchased many properties in auction and seen many things, learned many things, and I'll be sharing some of my tips with you. First, let me start with what's called a 100% win rate. There is a method with which you can win 100% of the auctions, but it is one of the things that I'm going to tell you not to do. So what is this 100% win strategy? Well, a lot of the time, people go to auctions and they pretty much hold up their number like that. And the auction keeps on going up and up and up and up, and in the end, they win. So this is not a method that I would like you to employ. That is when someone has a lot of money or they're totally in love with that property. They can't live anywhere else. They have to get it, so price doesn't matter. If you are looking for a savvy purchase, this method is not for you. Let's move on. So when you're out there to buy a property, you need to have your ultimate goal in mind. What do you want? Is that a property for development? Is that a property that you're going to renovate and flip? Is that a property that you're going to live in for long term? Or is it for rental investment or something like that? Now, why do I say this? You see, other bidders that may be there in the auctions will have similar reasons to be there as well. It sometimes pays to know who you're bidding against, what their motivations are. For you to be successful in an auction, you have to have other options. Meaning, when buying a property, one single property should never be the option. You should have at least 5, 6, 7 different options. And having options allows you to walk away from a bad deal. This is where I'm going to discuss what happened with the auction of this property. You see, it starts with a saying that I like a lot, which is, champions do their laps. Just like that, if you are a savvy buyer, you would have done your rounds. You would have seen many properties. You would have made lists. You would have done your pros and cons of each property, and then shortlisted, and then you are attending the auctions or making offers and things like that. See, winning in an auction is not the end-all, be-all of a good deal as far as purchasing a property goes. So, what happened to this property? You see, we were considering many different places to buy, and this particular property was fairly low in our list. So why was this property at the bottom of our list? Well, we were at the time looking for a development site. This is Project Delta. I've made a video about this, describing what this land is and so forth. So this happens to be a development site, but the location isn't exactly as good as some of the other ones we had on our list. If a property is in better location, they sell easier. If it is in a harder location, then people would come and hackle and things like that at the time of selling. However, the real estate agent knew me very well, and he rang me up and said, hey, just show up. If you don't want to bid, don't bid. Of course, he wants me to bid. I told him the same thing. Look, I'm not interested in the property, but since you asked me, I'll show up. And turns out that I was the only person who showed up. And me being the only bidder is like a marathon race with only one person running. So what happened? The auctioneer opened the bidding with a vendor's bid. Now, in the state of New South Wales, the vendor or the auctioneer is allowed to make one bid. It could be any number, and if they've bid too high, then all the buyers would walk away and their property remains unsold. It's something that they could do, and they did, and we just kept sitting. We didn't bid. So what's going to happen is the property is now going to pass in. It's not going to sell. And the agent came to me, hey, look, man, how about a bid? I said, you opened with a vendor's bid. You didn't let me have my say. All right. He said, what do you want to say? And then I made my offer. It was a lucrative offer, for me at least. So the real estate agent took the offer to the vendors, and the vendors made a counter offer. There were a few back and forth, and then we still bought the property at a lower than market price. So how did this come to be? Well, we went to many different auctions and walked away from most. See, my rate of success is something like 5 to 8 auctions we will go to. Out of that, there will be one win. Now, this may sound daunting to a lot of people because a lot of people are buying the property for the first time and things like that, and emotions are running high, and it's a scary thing to be in an auction sometimes. The trauma of going through an auction process can be too much for some people. I do this because I've got used to it. I can go to auctions and just stand there and make fun and do things. Having walked away from so many auctions, there comes a time when you are in the right place, right time. Which brings me to the next point. You got to take emotions completely out of the equation. If you haven't bought the property, don't love it. Once you've got the key, love it with all your heart and customize it, make it your own, make it your home. But until you've made the purchase, do not love a property. Do not fall in love. That's how they operate. The emotional engagement. Once someone imagines themselves living in the property they're about to purchase, I'm going to put the sofa there, and I'm going to put the refrigerator there, and this is going to be a great Barbie space, and I'm going to have parties over here, and all these dreams that start kicking in. And what happens? So at the day of auction, all of the agents that work for that real estate agency, they come and they observe who is bidding. And one of the agent goes to each group of people and they start whispering, the barbecue space is so nice, you want to be living there, just $1,000 more bid, I'm sure we'll get it. And then someone else bids, and then they start talking again, the property prices are on the rise. You'll make this next bid $1,000 in like a week or so, the property value is going to go up soon. And you bid another $1,000 and someone else bids, because they're whispering the same things in everyone's ears. So how they work, they actually target the emotional aspect. At the time of stress, when someone is in the auction, the auctioneer is talking so fast and doing all these things, these are all to keep the bidders on their heel. They want to keep the pressure on. And then comes the agents and they're making you feel like, you should bid one more. It's no big deal. It's just $1,000, but the thing is, the price keeps on crawling up. I've seen just like this bids of $1,000, and it goes up like $40,000, $50,000 like that. The auction drags on and on. It's very entertaining to see if you're a spectator, but you don't want to be in that position if you're a buyer. Now, the next thing, as far as tricks go, there are a few. A lot of people would say that stand next to the auctioneer. I would agree. Don't be scared. Don't stand in a corner, hiding away. Just stand prominently right next to the auctioneer. Have the view that he has. The auctioneer is deliberate about choosing where to stand at the auction day, or some of them they walk around and to raise the excitement in people and get them to bid. If the auctioneer is standing in one spot, go stand next to him. It's an odd thing, but it has its merits. Project confidence. You be the alpha there. Take control of the auction. More than often, the auctioneer would ask the people to start the auction. They would look for a bid. And then once someone bids, the auction is on its way. It pays to start the auction with your bid and make it a low bid. Get it to start low. So a lot of the time I've had this conversation with auctioneers, like right on the spot in front of everyone. Like, I've made a really low offer and he's rejecting. Oh, sir, we can't start from there. And politely I say, this is my bid. Either you're taking it or, not. Without an option, there's a bid. What are they going to do? They're going to start at the low. The thing is, there's only so long an auction can drag out. People have this mental clock inside. If the auction is dragging out, that means at certain time point, it's at its end. People mentally think, it's ending now. So if you start low, then there would be many bids and hopefully it'll end at a favorable point. But this strategy comes to nothing if there are lots of bidders. If the market is hot, everyone's bidding front, right, center. So the low bid is just erased in a matter of minutes. You start low and someone bids 20,000, another bids 30,000, another bids 20,000. Off, any advantage that goes is gone. So stalling an auction can be an interesting strategy at times, right? Not always. When the auctioneer sees that there is another bid on the floor, he's going to try and squeeze that out. He's going to do, going once, going twice, going thrice. Everyone done and silent. Sir, I'm still waiting for you. This is reality of it, right? Don't ever be rude in an auction. Some people are sometimes like, oh, they're bidding with their money and like, this, that. No. Politely, we'll need a moment, and then I start discussing with my wife something, and what's the weather like? But you don't want to be doing this always. Use this technique sparingly. If you're going to bid quickly. Like one person bids and then you bid $1,000 above immediately. This means that whatever he's going to bid, he's going to be bid out. You're going to keep going up by thousands. So there will come a time where he will think that, it's pointless. I can't keep bidding. This guy keeps bidding up confidently, right after me. But there are times when stalling works. You have to make that call yourself. It's a spur of the moment thing. Strange numbers is another thing. Like, let's say we are at 550,000 bid and the next bid is yours. So you bid $1,500, right? Instead of 2,000 or something like that. Strange numbers, $557,200. The auctioneer will always take the bid. It's a bid, it's money, he'll take it. But what it has is an anchoring effect. If there are other bidders in the auction, it'll sort of take the focus away from them and bring it to you. Dirty tricks, there are many. And I'd like to not talk about most of them. Try and avoid dirty tricks. I normally don't play tricks or anything like that to win an auction. Strategies are one thing, but dirty tricks is another. For example, some people, they hire builders or tradespeople and things like that, and they go over there and at the time of auction, they start talking between them. So, they got plumbing problem and this problem and that problem. It's going to take $30,000 just to fix that dry rot. There may not be any rot, right? So this is a lie. But what it does is words like that will throw people off their game. Hey, wait a minute, what's this tradesperson saying? Like, there's a plumbing issue. What plumbing issue? I wasn't aware of any plumbing issue. This is based on lies and things like that, but it's best to keep away from such things. What goes around comes around, it'll come around to you too. And finally, one of the things that I want to say is emotions. Again, to give you an example, this is something that happened recently. A property we went to, a development property. The house that was on the land was completely in tatters. Like, you need to do major fix up. So the house has very little value. It's just the land. They're probably going to knock it down as we would and build whatever needs building there and sell them and make profit. That's all the strategy you can have there. So we were thinking that the property might go somewhere above $700,000 to $800,000. So the auction started at like $600,000, which is fine. And then it kept going. And then near the end, as the hammer is about to fall, one of the builder, he bids. And then the builder who was about to win, they sort of locked eyes. And they weren't even looking at the auctioneer. They were like, yeah. And they were looking at the other guy. And then, yeah. It became a war of ego, right? And the property sold for around, from memory, $975, something like that, which was ridiculous. Like, why would you buy a property with over $100,000, the market value? So that was a crazy purchase. Like, why would someone do that with their money? But when egos are involved, the goal is no longer like he's going to make money out of selling the property or something. It's his builder. Maybe he knows the other guy and, is making a statement. Something, I don't know. But whatever the case may be, if you see that happening, right, just walk away. Don't get engaged in someone else's battle or something like that, or don't be in a battle yourself. Have the end goal in mind. Know when to walk away. And there's always a next property. You go to that one, try again. That fails, you go to the next one. What works for me is something I'll recommend to you as well. I win 1 in 5 to 8 auctions. 1. All you need to do is win 1, right? And when you win 1, you got to be the winner in the situation. So going through the inconvenience of going to a number of different auctions, it may be tiresome, it may take a while, but you will have the right one for you. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one. And if you have any questions, if you are about to buy a property, if you're developing a property, anything to do with the property market, please do ask me. I'm more than happy to answer your questions as soon as I can. Well, you take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time.